In a rare and highly extensive interview, Tottenham chairman Daniel Levy sits down with Gary Neville. He reveals the inside story behind the club's billion-pound stadium, speaks frankly on the complex politics of football finance, and explains the controversial decision to sack a trophy-winning manager. Daniel Levy reveals the true cost of constructing the Tottenham Stadium. He explains how the budget escalated from $400 million and why it would now cost over £2 billion to build today.
I've just sat on the Manchester United Stadium Task Force about their stadium, and the quoted costs, not necessarily from the club, but just reported around $2 billion for a 100,000 capacity stadium.
Daniel Levy offers his unfiltered take on the Premier League's power structure. He claims that most owners think primarily of themselves and argues that the FA missed its opportunity to properly govern the game.
I believe it should have been the FA. I think the FA should have taken a much stronger lead in bringing football together.
But would the FA has no power to be able to organise the Premier League clubs? The Premier League clubs would never accept that.
I don't think that's true. It's all about personalities. I think the FA needed to take a strong lead in bringing all the clubs together.
Daniel Levy addresses the pain of fan protests, admitting it genuinely hurts. He explains how a Tottenham loss affects his whole weekend, stating simply, "When you can't win, it's no fun."
The way in which you talk about the passion and the sort of the fans, obviously you have suffered protests in the last sort of 6 months, 8 months. What does that must really dig deep, that the people, obviously you've been chairman of this club now, owner of this club for 25 years, this is your 25th year. Does it hurt?
Of course it hurts, but their pain is also my pain.
Yeah.
You know, I want to win, and when we're not playing well and we're not winning, believe me, I suffer as well.
Yeah. Does it impact your week? I mean, I know it from a smaller scale, obviously, with Salford, but when you go home on a Saturday night and Tottenham haven't won,
Ruins the whole weekend.
And it impacts your home life.
Yeah. It's horrible. You're in this to win.
Yeah.
And when you don't win, it's no fun.
Why sack a manager who just won a European trophy? Daniel Levy explains the data-driven decision to part ways with Ange Postecoglou and shares what he hopes new manager Thomas will contribute to the team.
Yeah, I think we had to explain, Ange just won us a trophy, a European trophy, which is highly significant. It's always going to be in our history. And yet we were asking him to leave. But we can't lose sight of the fact we finished 17th in the league. We lost 22 Premier League games. And it's impossible for Tottenham to be in that position. And so we had to take the emotion out of it. And we had to give some data points as to why we decided to do what we did. Yeah. But you've been there, whichever level you do it, no one likes telling somebody you're losing their job. But it is the nature of football. We're there to win. And yes, we won a Euro trophy, and it was fantastic. But we also need to win on all fronts. And the Premier League says it all.
Daniel Levy presents a vision of a self-sustaining super club aiming to balance massive infrastructure investment with the relentless and often challenging pursuit of on-field success.